what are our expectations for men and women?
Yeah, we really haven't probably laid them out perfectly yet, but the goal is top 3 for each team. Coming off such an outstanding indoor championship for both men and women, if we can finish off the year with a top 3 finish, that would give us a top 3 finish in cross-country indoors and outdoors for both teams, which would be a pretty fantastic year. So we hope to top it off the right way.
What's the key to being successful at a conference championship?
It's depth. I mean, your best kids have to be your best kids and have to do well and score a lot of points. But one thing that we did really well for both men and women indoors was having kids that could have been 4th or could have been 8th and ended up 4th or 5th. And that's a huge difference in points. You can score 5 points in 4th and 1 point in 8th. And difference might be very, very small, but the scoreboard, when you start adding them all up, it's a very big difference.
Is it a matter of this is the day that you want at least a majority of kids to turn in their best possible performances?
Yeah, that's always the hope. It may not be the best performance as far as time or distance. It's all about being competitive. Under the conditions and at this time of the year, if you're competitive, usually you can turn in what you want to turn in.
Now, I was going to say, we talked during the year so much about times and personal bests and steady growth. This isn't about times or marks as much as it is about placement, really, for the only time in the season.
Yeah, and that's all that's important. You can have your worst performance of the year. If you score more points than you thought, or you score the points that you were supposed to score, then it's a hugely successful day. So the kids aren't really looking at splits or PRs or anything like that. They're just strictly looking at places.
This particular meet, the men won the indoor championship. Does that create a little bit of pressure, because you've got to think that Albany's kind of gunning for UMass Lowell?
No, you want to know what? It's a different meet. It's a different weekend, and frankly, there's some different events too. So we're going to come out and do the best we can, and certainly, we're always going to try to do the best we can, and whatever happens. If we lay out our best effort, then that is what it is.
You said depth is the key. Do you feel as though we have the depth? Do you look at this roster broken down by events and say, we've got a few people in each event that can come up big?
Yeah, and I think we're pretty close to every event. Probably 90% of the events we have multiple people that can score, and that's really what it takes to be successful in a championship meet, is having multiple people in every event that can score, one that can score high and hopefully one that can score low, and we do have a few events that probably can score 3 people in. And it's just going to be those people coming through on that day if we're going to do as well as we hope.
You talk about competitiveness being important, which I assume adds up to mental toughness. Is this team mentally tough? Is there a basic competitiveness that is there?
Yeah, and I think they gained a lot of confidence, during the indoor championship. And, it seemed like the first few years in the conference we couldn't quite put it together on the right day. And now between cross country, last year outdoors where we won, multiple championships individually, and now winning it indoors, we're certainly at the point now where they should be confident.
You talk about confidence, and I guess what we're also talking about, having been there before, is experience. Does experience, having been in these events, not just a matter of confidence, but experience, I think there's probably more jostling in longer distance races and that sort of thing. You take them to the Colonial Relays, the Raleigh Relays, the Penn Relays. We're in a variety of high-intensity environments. Does that make a difference, that experience?
Yeah, I think them being in more high-pressure situations and being in highly competitive situations, you come to a meet like this, and I think it definitely takes the edge off a little bit. Running in front of, the sprinters running in front of 30,000 people at Penn on Friday. They're not going to be running in front of 30,000 people at, the America East Championships. I think it takes a little bit of the edge off, and I think the more experiences you can give them, the more comfortable they are in any situation that you put in them.
This is the first year we're fully eligible. We've turned in a terrific cross-country season. Indoor was terrific. Do you look at this year and see kind of the fruits of the labor over the last 4 years through the transition?
Yeah, we're getting there. I still think there's areas that we can get better in, and I think there's areas that we will get better in. Not everything's a perfect perfect line, from where you start to where you end. And we were definitely taking steps along the way, and we'll probably take a step back, somewhere along the way before we take 2 more steps forward. But we're really pleased with where we're at. We were competitive, all 3 seasons with all 6 sports. If we can finish top 3 again this outdoor season with that would be finish off, probably exceed anything that we had hoped for the year.
Is this also kind of the one time of the year that you ask people to do a little bit extra? And what I mean is, during the year we'll see Paul Hogan run a 5,000 meters, and maybe 2 weeks later a 10,000. I don't know if we're going to ask him to do a 5 and a 10 this weekend, but there are athletes that will run trials and maybe 100 and 200 one day and then finals the next day, and maybe as part of a relay. Maybe we'll see Allie Wood or Catherine Loughnane run multiple events. Is this that one weekend that you just ask for more?
Yeah, we definitely ask for more. We try to mimic it at least once or twice during the year, so that then when they get to the championship meet, they have some experience doing it. We did it in California with a few of the kids, running in back-to-back days. That we know we're going to have to run back-to-back days. We do it with some sprinters, which is one of the reasons why we have the Ocean State meet and the Dartmouth meet back-to-back days, just to get the kids used to running, 2 days in a row, multiple events. And hopefully it helps. We feel that it helps them as we get ready for the championship meet, and hopefully it pays off this weekend.
Feel as though we're ready?
Yeah, I hope so.